Hello and welcome to the Terminal Velocity Comic Book Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Scott.
I'm Andrew.
And this week we're going to be talking about a show that's just over its halfway mark in its run. We are talking about The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, as you can probably see from the album art, or if you're watching us on YouTube from Andrew's background. This is the Disney Plus series, 4 episodes of, I believe it's supposed to be a 6-episode run.
Yes.
So we're 4 episodes in. The story of what happened to the Shield after Cap kind of handed it off, and a little bit more surprising, the politics that exist within the Marvel universe. This has been an interesting series as it's really picked up. We were looking it up just before we started recording, and this is picking up a mere months after the events of Endgame have happened. So everybody that vanished from the planet has come back, kind of the political upheaval and social upheaval that would kind of throw the world into. That is one of the things that I'm actually finding kind of really interesting about the show. They're not getting into the details of it too much, but the whole concept of the world rallying around itself during the blip, the time frame, those 5 years where half the world has vanished, and kind of everybody being, as they say in the show, one planet, one people, borders kind of being a thing of the past, everyone rallying around each other and that kind of thing. I think it's especially interesting because when we're dealing with this pandemic world that we're currently in, you can see a little bit of rallying happening in different places. We're getting a little bit long in the tooth on the pandemic right now, so it's kind of starting to fall apart. But definitely at the beginning, there was a little bit more unity and kind of solidarity. And yeah, we're all in this kind of together type of feeling happening. But I find that really interesting.
The slogans have gone away. I just realized that.
Yeah. But one of the interesting things about this show is that it's picking up. So quick synopsis of the show. If you haven't watched it, I don't know what you're doing. Pause the show and go watch it and get caught up on it. But basically what's happening is there's a terrorist group or freedom fighter group, depending on how you want to look at it, called the Flag Smashers, who are out to kind of break down those barriers again, fighting for those that have been displaced. So the people that were welcomed into countries, welcomed into new homes, welcomed into jobs, that once all these people, the other half of the planet, kind of reappeared just suddenly, they no longer have jobs, have homes. No one's looking after them. They're kind of left to fend for themselves. And this group is really taking the world to task on that kind of idea, and they're going about it in obviously the only way that some people can, which is through violence and through their own messaging. The people that are actually responsible for this Flag Smashers group actually have, interestingly enough, some of the super soldier serum that was concocted by a scientist in Madripoor, and we'll get into that in a minute. But Madripoor makes its first appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in this series, which is kind of cool.
Do you think the bar is still built on top of a dragon?
Yes. Yeah, we'll go with that. I mean, they're going to be folding everything back in here, so I expect that to be true. I mean, if we're going to get Iron Fist pulled back in, I don't see why not. But they've had the serum created by somebody over there. Somebody has ended up stealing it, giving it to basically some of her friends, and that's kind of the backbone of the Flag Smasher group. Sam has figured out that this group is out there and that they're dangerous, so he goes on the hunt for them, picks up Bucky along the way.
One thing we should make note of that about the show is that at the very beginning, as you know, if you've watched Avengers Endgame, Cap lived his life in an alternate world after the events and came back once he was an elder statesman kind of state, and chose Sam as the next wielder of the shield.
Mhm.
Um, this show starts off where Sam, just full of doubt that he could ever live up to the legacy of Steve Rogers, uh, decides to kind of shirk the responsibility, kind of, and donates the shield to the Smithsonian, which set kind of triggers Bucky a little bit, because of what Steve, he very much values what Steve's opinion and thoughts and feelings were, and what the mantle of Captain America means, especially, I mean, he lived it.
Mhm.
So Sam thinks everything's fine until the government pulls a little hijinks there and decides, no, this is a great branding opportunity.
Mhm.
And they actually create their own new Captain America, which kind of starts out like a bit of a mascot. Solely because he's not a super soldier. He kind of has a similar uniform to Captain America, and he kind of just comes out to do, I guess, like, what would you call it? Almost like,
A media tour.
yeah, it's like
A
a
little
media,
bit like
like a,
exactly how Captain America first came out.
yeah,
They kind of
just
brand him
modern
in that
day.
same way, a USO show, taking him around, getting him in front of the media networks. Um,
And that was all to push the repatriation act or whatever, the
mhm.
reset, rebuild or whatever thing that we see throughout the show. Um, but like you said, the rise of the flag smashers leads Sam and Bucky on an adventure to kind of get in front of it and stop it. But it also brings the new Captain America, John Walker, into the mix, along with his fake Bucky.
Mhm.
I forget his name, but Lamar is his first name. Um, they join the fray, and well, you can carry it from there, Scott.
Sure. So they kind of pick it up. They're following the trail as best they can, and it's quickly inferred that the only way they're going to be able to find these super soldiers is by teaming up with somebody who's historically been really good at hunting down super soldiers. And anybody who's watched Captain America Civil War knows exactly where they're going with this. And we get the return of Baron Zemo. And I have to admit, yes, Baron Zemo dancing, Baron Zemo with his mask and his frilled jacket
Yeah,
is, I mean, this is exactly what I wanted when they said Baron Zemo was going to be in it. Um,
Turkish delight.
I Baron Zemo is much like Agatha in the WandaVision.
Yeah, he's
It,
stealing the show. Every time he's on the screen, you're just like, yeah.
yeah, and I've been watching this show with one of my kids, and when he takes the Turkish delights to one of these, I don't know what you'd call it. I would call it a refugee camp, but the people aren't refugees. That thing,
Displaced people. It's
displaced
like
people.
basically the camp of people that the flag smashers are pretty much supporting.
Mhm. And he takes a bunch of Turkish delights and he's talking to the kids. My son was just like, please don't tell me he poisoned those. Please don't tell me he poisoned those. And I was like, normally I would say that that's not going to happen, but with this Zemo, anything's possible.
You never know. Yeah, like depending on like his goal,
Yeah.
he's willing to do whatever, as we learned in Civil War. Like, I mean, he assassinated a king.
Yeah. And
So
yeah, anything's possible. And one of the other things before we get to that stage is we actually had a character return in the series in Madripoor that we haven't seen since Civil War, that I think was kind of written out of the universe. And then they realized that they needed to bring her back. And she's been treated like shit. And of course, I'm talking about Sharon Carter.
which is funny because it was a Russo brothers film that she was last in,
Mm-hmm.
where they killed Peggy off. Like Peggy was old at that stage and died.
Mm-hmm.
Cap started to move on with his life, and had through Winter Soldier, and then Civil War, like had gotten closer to Sharon Carter, where like he kissed her and everything at Civil War, and then off he went.
and he vanished. Everyone forgot about her, and she
Yeah.
was basically what they give you the quick history catch up on her, and she was basically branded as enemy number one because she stole the shield, she stole the wings, gave them to a couple of, again, branded as terrorists slash freedom fighters, slash nonconformist, and basically had to go on the run. And where do you go on the run in Marvel? If you're trying to get away from, I guess, the law, you go to the place where law is not an issue. You go to Madripoor.
What's crazy about this though too is like they portrayed her as like the very righteous, very like she'll do what's right no matter what. In her two previous appearances, like
Mm-hmm.
she stood up against Hydra when Shield was exposed as being Hydra's baby. Uh, she stood up against the superhero or the Sokovia Accords in
Mm-hmm.
Civil War, and then it's like now she's kind of a murky character, which is it's like would Peggy be happy with Steve after that?
Yeah, would Steve be happy with Sharon after all of this? Like,
He would be. I feel like he might judge it, but at the same time, he's kind of responsible.
yeah, yeah, he would definitely be feeling that way. And I think Sam feels that weight from it because he's going to try and help her out, as so he says, not without calling on her a couple more times throughout the series.
She's getting used again.
She's getting used, exactly. So there's the whole idea, and
I was
I
gonna
should,
tell Sharon Carter to stop being the side bitch.
and so we've got this introduced new character as well of the power broker, who is the one responsible for the creation of the super soldier serum that this leader of the flag smashers actually stole from him, or them, I should say, because we don't know who it is yet, the power broker. And then took it and kind of handed it out. And that's kind of where we are in the series. We've tracked down the flag smashers. All but one vial of the super soldier serum has been destroyed. Um, John Walker has ended up taking the last of the super soldier serum. And as we were saying, again, just before recording, some of the kind of cliche Marvel catchphrases kind of come to fruition in this series. You've got, with great power comes great responsibility. You've got Dr. Erskine was telling Steve when he was about to go through his procedure that the serum makes a good man great and makes a bad man worse. And we're really seeing that kind of play out. Now, I do want to point out that these super soldier serums don't make people jacked in the same way that Captain America was. So it's not the same serum, but it does give them heightened strength and it appears agility. Um, and for some reason, it does enhance their fighting abilities. Although we're again talking about this, these are basically just street level kids who are going up against soldiers who are trained in fighting, and they're still winning, but it's not. I feel like the fight should be a little dirtier than they actually are, given the fact that these are untrained versus trained soldiers. Um, they are still outnumbered like 6-1. So I can understand them still losing to these super
With the
soldiers.
shield, it just you can take out three quickly with the shield.
Yes. But yeah, that kind of catches us up on the storyline of where we're at. It's not an overly complex story. There's not tons and tons of mystery per se. But this is a return to kind of the classic Winter Soldier Marvel movie kind of storyline. It's the thriller spy aspect that you really kind of get the good feeling of since the second Captain America movie. And it's been a really fun departure from what we saw in WandaVision and kind of the big huge stakes that Endgame kind of has. But yeah, that's kind of where the story's at so far. So I
Well,
guess
with this show, it's also I think the Marvel's form of social commentary, but in a way that it's peppered into the story, and but it's not the main. I almost say it's not the main focus because it's very much in focus, but it's it's telling you an interesting story first
Mm-hmm.
with the set decoration of uh political statements. Like it's talking about what it covers a wide range of things. That, like you said, it tackles refugees. It tackles. It's very much reminding me too, like displaced people, and with World War II, like when the men went off to war, and immigrants were brought to work the factories and keep the war machine going. But then when the war was over and the men returned, the women were expected to go back to the kitchen, and anyone deemed
Mm-hmm.
lesser was kind of sent back. So it is definitely making the political commentary about those things, but it's also telling you, and like you said, an interesting thriller.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have to say that I enjoyed the Dora Milaje showing up because of the stakes, their stake with Zemo,
Mm-hmm.
and just whooping John Walker's ass.
The number of times this new Captain America gets his ass handed to him is fantastic.
Well,
And it's
he's
such a departure from what we're used to.
he's portrayed very much as the heel, right? Like,
Mm.
not to bring up a wrestling term, but like he's like kind of this guy that you're just waiting for the turn, right? And like the show definitely delivered that turn. Like especially this episode, he just got he. I liked when the Doras who just like defeated him like with ease, and he's just looking despondent, and they got the shot like focused on his face, and he's just like almost trembling, like going, they weren't even super soldiers, and then like
Mm-hmm.
he's just despondent at the fact that he just got beat up by probably people he I got the impression he felt were inferior. Like
Yep.
they very much had him kind of condescend to them. He's talking about putting down their pointy sticks, and he's like, oh, I'm Captain America, and he like goes and puts his arm on her shoulder. Uh, and the shield, they rendered the shield useless, like almost right away. Like he
Mm-hmm.
was just nothing compared to them. So when and at this point already know he's grabbed that last vial of the super soldier serum that was dropped by Carly, right? Is what
Yep. Carly.
they said her name is. Um, you're just waiting for him to take it. Like, and we talked off air. It's like you almost felt like he was going to just sit there and inject himself right then and there because like how badly he was getting beat up.
Mm-hmm.
But then the Doras come in and they really mop the floor with him. And so next time you see him and he loses his temper and he throws the shield, it like embeds in the wall, and you're just like, okay,
Yep.
took it. And so
Yeah.
getting into super spoiler territory, like Erskine said, like it makes a good man great and a bad man worse. Sorry if I misquoted that, but made the bad man worse.
Mm-hmm.
So you're even seeing as John Walker is going through. You've kind of seen it in him, but now he's like really tweaking. He's really twitching. Like he's not mentally sound, which is I think it is in itself political commentary about the military. Like it's just like they're not, these guys are they're branded as heroes, and they do what they think is right, but then it comments on like what they had to do the quote unquote right thing,
Mm-hmm.
and that leaves scars, right? So it's he's a damaged guy. I think he's ultimately thinks he's doing the right thing. He's trying to do the right thing, and by any means necessary at this stage. But when the super soldier, when Carly, so if I recall correctly, she goes to attack John, and Lamar steps in and blocks her, and then she does, because she's a super soldier, kicks this average guy into a cement pillar. It just crippled, like it just done.
Kills him.
It's like when the Hulk kicked Blonsky into the tree, except Blonsky had the super soldier serum, so he
Mm-hmm.
recovered. But yeah, like he just keeled over, and that was like on that Darth Vader moment that you see in your mind. You're hearing the swell of the music, and it's like you get this very dark music playing as he gives chase, and Carly gets away, but he doesn't even care. He chases whatever flag smasher he sees next, and he chases him down into the public square, and man, that ending, he just takes the shield and just pummels the guy right in the public square, bludgeons him to death. Like I thought he was going to decapitate him the way it was,
It
the way
definitely
he
looked
was
that way.
pounding on him with the shield. But for the first time ever, and we've seen Cap wield that shield quite a bit on things, but like this is the first time, like at the end, Walker standing there despondently, and the shield is covered in blood,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody in the public square is what, like the title of the episode was "The World Is Watching." Sees Captain America, cold blood murder a man with the shield, which is saying so much in itself. Like it's tarnished the legacy of Captain America, and it should be interesting to see where it goes next.
Definitely
I have a
should be.
feeling. I have a feeling that the next, what'll be next, will be some sort of a trial, but it'll be a sham. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think he'll be acquitted, which will trigger something else further in terms of the plot. But I get the vibe that they're like, because I mean everybody's recording it. It's like an international incident. Like I feel like they have to go. It has to be a trial of Captain America type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's how he loses the title of Captain America and becomes U.S. agent. Like I don't know, because I think they're ultimately gonna clear him as he was hunting a terrorist. Like he was right.
Yeah, they'll
Uh,
clear Captain America's name and then demote John Walker to some other title, and
yeah,
then figure out what they want to do with the Captain America kind of piece. One of the things that I'm enjoying about the show is, true to form, Sam is looking to do the right thing. So
yes,
he's hunting down the Flag Smashers and going after the problem. Bucky is more concerned with the title of Captain America and what has happened to the shield and where is it going. Um, and it's a proof point that Sam should be Captain America, because he's not wrapped up in the shield as much as Bucky is. He's upset and disgusted with what's happened to the shield, and that it's gone to somebody else, and that what he's done is let it down this road. But he's not as wrapped up in, okay, there's this other guy as Captain America. He just recognizes he's not Captain America. That guy will never live up to what Steve Rogers was.
well, see, Sam is showing that he is living up to Captain America in what it actually means. The shield is a symbol, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not. People treat it like that makes you Captain America, and it's not. It's the morals, the ethic, the fortitude, like that is what makes you Captain America. It's not the super soldier serum.
Mm-hmm.
It's the having the gumption to do what's right no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's what Sam Wilson is showing. Bucky, this, I wondered too if they maybe were going to circumvent our expectations and still have him kind of be crowned Captain America, but he's more, like you said, focused on the symbol of Captain America as opposed to the true meaning of Captain
Mm-hmm.
America.
Yeah,
Um,
like when it comes down to it, I can see Sam being the guy, just like Cap, who gets his ass handed to him, stands back up, and gets ready to fight again.
I can do this
Um,
all day, sort
yeah,
of.
yeah, that exact sentiment of, I could do this all day. I don't see Bucky having that same fortitude. He's not. He's too damaged. He's too broken. He's too much of a hothead. He doesn't have that, and I think it's the even though he grew up at the same time as Steve, he didn't grow up like Steve, which is what makes him kind of stronger. In that same way that the having the whole Sam's sister introduced, and showing that he comes from a working family who have been down through the gutters, and scrounging up on their fishing boat, making a living, doing what they have to do, getting up day in and day out and doing it over and over again because it's what they have to do, really shows the character of who they are. Whereas we talked about it before, this kind of gets into the whole white privilege, toxic masculinity type of thing of what this new Captain America is and the kind of sentiments behind even Bucky thinking that. I mean, Bucky, I think, thinks that it should be him that's Captain America.
At this stage, I think so because he's still pissed at Sam for handing off the shield in the first place. He's like, Steve chose you, and you just
Yeah.
And I can't imagine what they're thinking now after that last shot, and you just see Captain America sitting with the bloodied shield and looking psychotic. Like
Yeah.
it's. Oof, that gave me chills and all kinds of emotion, like watching that moment. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
you're like it's like it's just tarnished, and I imagine like what's old man Steve thinking if he's still alive.
Yeah, if he's still seeing this, he's going to be so upset. Um, what I like too is that during the whole fight with the Dora Milaje, Zemo gets away.
Mm-hmm.
And so now the next episode is not only going to be dealing with the ramifications of what this new Captain America has done to the name and the symbol, but where the hell is Zemo? And Zemo's now got another target to go after, another super soldier.
Now, do you think Zemo is going to face off against Super Soldier Walker here and get disfigured like he is in the comics?
I think so. I think Zemo's going to come in and get rid of the Flag Smashers.
Mm-hmm.
Going to take them out because he has no hesitation.
Mm-hmm.
The last time he saw this girl, he shot her straight through the gut, like when he
Also,
barely caught a glimpse of her.
when he had the chance, he took out the scientist that recreated the Super Soldier Serum too.
And when he saw all the vials of the super soldier serum, he just started smashing them to get rid of them. He has no time whatsoever for these people. And this is kind of his zest for life is in hunting these people down and doing what he has to do. But yeah, I think it's going to come down to a big fight between Walker, Zemo, and then Falcon. Really, I don't think Bucky's going to be in it as much. And yes, I think he'll end up getting disfigured. He's going to get his ass handed to him, and it's going to be Sam that ends up taking down this new captain.
Now, actually, just mentioning about Bucky there, talk, talk about when they fought the Dora Milaje, how they just used like this like backdoor trick on his arm that he didn't even know about,
Yeah.
and like the look on his face, like he was just like emotionally kind of wrecked
Mm-hmm.
because like he felt like he was embraced and accepted as one of their own with his time in Wakanda, and they're kind of hinting that there might have been some romantic feelings between him and the Dora Io. Um, and it's like they just dismantle his arm in like three quick moves, and it's like after all that they didn't actually trust him, that
Mm-hmm.
they put a backdoor and
And
essentially
for,
handicap him, right? Like it's
and for the life of me, I can't remember what she said to him. I'm trying to remember it now, and I can't remember what she said to him as soon as she took his arm off.
she said something in their language, and then his name, I think, and I have no idea what it meant.
But yeah, the White Wolf just took out his arm and then just walked away, and he was broken at that point. Because then, yeah, he's no one trusts him. He's like, not only does he not trust himself, but no one trusts him enough to tell him everything. And
It was especially hurtful for him because they've showed a flashback to 5 years ago, and it's like it was Io that truly helped him like overcome his
mhm.
the Winter Soldier programming, and so that was a huge moment for him in his life. Like it gave him his life back, and then to have it that trust and relationship, obviously that he had built with them, like to find out that they just it's
Yeah,
kind of like, oh man, like.
this
So
was
I'm curious to see the fallout of that for him because like he definitely felt that one.
this was a momentous episode for all of the characters in here. Huge character growth moments. Um, So it's going to be really interesting to see what the next two. And every
So
one of these
now
episodes are almost an hour long or up to an hour long.
I
So
hope
it's,
the next two feel like a movie, like a 2 hour movie.
yeah, I hope
Um,
so.
they have said though, episode 5 apparently has a momentous cameo or guest star. So
I would hope.
it's apparently a very big deal, but it's like let me see if I can find. Keep talking. I'm gonna find the.
See, now I'm really hoping that they bring old man Steve back because I would love to see Captain America, much like he was in the comics, wearing a cardigan and just talking
Thanks, Siri.
to Sam about it. Um, I think that would be absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, Siri. Okay,
Yeah.
so
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be, we're going to see a lot more. There's going to be more revelations about who Power Broker is and that whole.
the late. Sorry to interrupt you. So the
Sure.
latest talk on this is that the episode 5 cameo is played by a well-known actor. So this is a big cameo planned. It says that this surprise character is not one that we've seen in the MCU before, and not one who is primed to appear in an upcoming film. And not one who is primed to appear in an upcoming film. However, we've learned it is an existing Marvel Comics character who is played by a well-known performer.
Hmm.
That makes it even deeper. I assumed it was going to be some kind of character that already existed.
Yeah.
So who could it be? Something that would move, something that people would react to in the Captain America world.
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
I don't know. This will be interesting.
Well, no, I mean,
I
the
mean, he
guy
seems,
who played Isaiah. I wouldn't say is a well-known Carl Lumbly. Like he's been around, but he's not like a well-known
yeah.
performer. So it couldn't be like Beta Cap.
Hmm.
Um, Man, no, I'm really curious.
It'll be really interesting where whatever happens in these next couple episodes. Marvel is, all I got to say is Marvel is killing it on their TV series.
Yes.
They've really honed in on um, continuing what makes them good in their movies is actually making them better on the small screen.
I love that it's giving these characters and these actors time to breathe. I love that we're getting to see their acting chops. We're getting to kind of really get in and get to know some of these characters that are kind of relegated to the side in the big blockbusters. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, you're getting to really see the talent of and this goes the same for WandaVision as well. Um, but I did notice a theme that we've now covered WandaVision when it was almost over, and we covered Falcon and Winter Soldier when it's almost over. So I'm
Yeah,
thinking that we should have an episode come up where once these are both completed, we talk about the conclusions of these two shows.
fair enough. We will do that. We will do a wrap up episode of both WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier and talk about where it's leading the Marvel
The
MCU.
MCU after the blip.
Yeah, yes, our phase 4 or whatever phase we're actually in. We will do that. I was thinking about that too. I was like, wow, our timing is really great and stupid at the same time because it's talking halfway through a series and never coming back to revisit it.
Not finished. The
Yeah.
motto of Terminal Velocity.
And I will say we will also be talking about once it's got a few more issues under its belt, we will be talking about the new Flash series, seeing as it's got the return of Wally West and those things, and kind of talk about our feelings on that and kind of where it's going and everything. that'll definitely be something that we end up doing
Yeah, I
soon as
definitely want to
well.
make sure that it's not just a gimmick for one story arc. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that's
Um,
basically my feelings about it. It's like if it's just like a one story and then Barry's back, I'll be pissed off. So I don't really.
yeah, so we'll dedicate some time to that. I was buying a few different comics digitally the other day that I would love us to do, and maybe we'll do those off air. We can talk about them a little bit more. Um,
Did
but
you
I
get to
think
read King in Black #5?
I didn't. And that was going to
Hmm.
be another one of those episodes that I wanted us to do, because we don't just do
I
it
finished.
with TV, we do it with comics too. We talk about a series that's half done and then sometimes never come back
Just
to
like
it.
the MCU, our show has a theme for season 2, and it's incomplete.
Incomplete. So we will get back to that in due course. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. With Falcon and the Winter Soldier is, um, it's been a really great series. It's giving us that. I'm really enjoying the fleshing out of the Marvel universe and kind of more things about what's on the go. Um, we're getting more color, we're getting more background, we're getting just making it feel more lived in, um, tying it into kind of themes that we can take or ignore that reflect kind of what's on the go in our current world. Um, but it's as stupid as it is to say, it's something that you could see happening fairly easily given the way that humanity is.
Very grounded, this
Yeah,
series, especially.
yeah. So that's kind of our thoughts and feelings on it. I think if you have any thoughts or feelings that you'd like to share with us, you can send us an email at terminalvelocitypodcast@gmail.com, or leave it in the comment section at terminalvelocitypodcast.com.
You can also let us know if you're Team Edward or Team Jacob at Comics Terminal on Twitter.
So I would say that right now I'm giving this series, if we were to rate it, I would give it 5 dancing Zemos out of 5.
You took mine. I was gonna say 5 fist bump, Zemo fist bumps.
Euro. I mean, you just see Eurovision playing out with
It's
Zemo.
funny how well that has taken off, and like the Marvel released the Zemo cut after the hashtag went live.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an hour of it looping of him dancing in the club. Uh, it's so funny. I love how stiff he is, and it's just like,
Yeah, he gets into it a little bit. I thought as soon as they had that little glimpse of him dancing in Madripoor, I was like, "Oh, this is it. This is everything I wanted right now." That's Zemo. But yeah, that's it.
the
That's it
kids
for
today
us.
watching that go, "What's a nightclub?"
What's a nightclub?
I was
If
thinking about that. I was like how long? It's been a while now, especially to the last 2 years. Like COVID would have eliminated
Mhm.
that completely, and then before that, like I find it funny when I talk with younger millennials. I guess I'm on the tip of that weird
Mhm.
border generation. I was here before the internet, but like I remember the world before. Whereas like kids grew up fully in this tech world. Like, and I'm surprised at the things they don't know. So,
Mhm.
like when did nightclubs die? Like, I'm kind of curious because like this really took off, and I feel like if that scene had played out 10 years ago for that audience, which would have been my, I guess my group, he would have just kind of seemed like a bit of a dork
Yeah.
and very stiff in his dance. So I'm wondering, like, is it because it's like this like nightclub setting, something that's kind of new, it seems kind of new and refreshing to them. Like they're curious. Oh, what is that?
Yes. What is this music stadium?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Social gatherings.
One day we'll get back to that. But until then, we will talk to you all later. See ya.